everybody, Gecko here, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm talking about a new DLC idea that could come out after Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Now, folks, this is going to be a very different DLC idea to Iceborne in the way that it won't have any new maps or anything, but a few new monsters to hunt. Now, it is a 4-quest thing. Maybe a few more if you want to. So how it starts is the Admiral, that Seeker guy or whatever he was called, that had discovered Xeno'jiiva, they come to you, and the guy who discovered Xeno'jiiva says that he needs help for an experiment he needs to do, that he wants to do. So then you get 2 quests. Number 1, you go into Devil'jo. It unlocks a new place for you in Devil'jo's lair. All of a sudden, there's a very large version of the Jalaka entrance, and the Seeker says that that's because it's the right season for Devil'jo to lay eggs. So when you go in there and you see a sleeping Devil'jo with eggs in the nest, so you have to grab the eggs and deliver it to camp. But that's going to be the second quest that you do. The quest that you do before that is to capture a Basilgeuse. And after you do that first quest, you get a cutscene of the Seeker using his Kinsect to extract all 3 of the Basilgeuse's blood, but not to inject it into him. To just have the Kinsect keep that blood inside of him, instead of just delivering the buffs to the Seeker. Then he'll send the Kinsect and just let it stay in a lab until it can be, and stay in an area until it can be used later. Then the Devil'jo egg comes into play. But while this is happening, that Devil'jo is extremely mad. So while the Seeker is trying to do his experiment of injecting the Basilgeuse blood into the young Devil'jo embryo, you actually have to use like ballistas and stuff to defend Astera from a Devil'jo, which I think would be really cool. So then it would be a 5-quest thing, because the next thing that would happen was there would be a Devil'jo at the gate, and the gate would be closed and stuff, and you'd have to attack him with everything you've got to make sure that he doesn't go into Astera and destroy the entire place, because that gate that's over in the ancient forest is what he'd be attacking, and you have to prevent him from getting into Astera, or else, well, you know what would happen. And then eventually the Seeker will be done with his experiment about in the time you have killed the Devil'jo. Then you go back to the Seeker and you see his experiment, and he simply places the egg back in the nest. And then you just go about your business as usual until all of a sudden you go on an expedition. It says go on an expedition to the ancient forest. There's been strange activity there recently after like 5 extra quests that you're doing to give them time for the baby to grow up. And then you get a cutscene of you go through you fly over to, it says go on an expedition to southwest camp of the ancient forest. You fly over there, then all of a sudden you look up in the sky and you see this weird shadow. All of a sudden you see what came out of the egg. Basically a Devil'jo with the kind of the Basilgeuse bottom jaw, the Basilgeuse shock absorbency and the scales and stuff, and the scales dangling from his neck and tail, and Basil's wings instead of Devil'jo's arms. And then all of a sudden you see the scales falling into camp as they leave trails of dragon breath behind them. And then it lands right outside, and then you run outside of camp as the dragon bombs explode. And then you just go outside and you just see the menacing creature standing in Devil'jo's normal stance with the wings folded up like Basil normally has. And then it does a roar that sounds like a combination of Devil'jo and Basilgeuse's roar. And then the fight starts and you're fighting. And actually, wait, no, right. That will actually be the final quest, the 5th quest. There's going to be a 4th quest before that. I forgot about that. You see, it says there's been strange sightings. But you go on a quest instead. And it says that there's been a strange purple Kuliaku, So you go there and you see a gigantic. And then what you'll see is you'll see a dead corpse of a purple Kuliaku on the ground, surrounded by those dragon scales that you can pick up, and they have blue scout flies, so you know it's gonna be bad. Then you walk over to a nest and you see more of what the egg that you had made looks like, and a Kulu eating them. All of a sudden, when the Kulu eats it, its scales start to fall off, and strange spiky purple flesh appears underneath, and its eyes glow red. And as it becomes a death Kulu, and you have to fight the death Kulu until you kill it. And that's when the cutscene that I talked about earlier happens. And then you go to the Southwest camp, and that cutscene happens. And then you're fighting a creature that, as this video calls, is known as Nightmare. The combination between Basil Geese and Deviljho, which, as its name says, would be literally a nightmare to fight, because it has all of Basil's abilities combined with all of Deviljho's abilities. So you take Deviljho's basic skeleton, combine it with Basil Geese's wings and his bombs and stuff, so that the bombs do the same thing as Deviljho's dragon breath. They're dragon bombs. And instead of the Basil shooting his fire at the scales to make them explode, it's the Nightmare shooting the dragon breath at the dragon bombs to make them explode. And the explosions are bigger, and the Nightmare is more Deviljho sized. And when it's enraged, it glows like Basil Geese and like Deviljho, which is gonna be insane. So it'll, do the Basil Geese glowing thing every once in a while that Basil does every once in a while. But then when it's enraged, it does the Deviljho enrage, and that's just gonna be pure insanity, because when it's not enraged, the scales don't have any dragon. But then when he is enraged, the scales have dragon element, as well as when he is in the instant explode mode that Basil has, the scales will, instead of just waiting for a while like normal Basil, instantly explode. It's going to be an insane fight. And the thing is, Nightmare is going to be the strongest thing in the game. You know how Ancient Legend has 60,000 health? Well, Nightmare is going to literally have 70,000 health. And after beating the Death Kulu, you get something special. The Death Kulu head. Basically the Kulu head, but with Death Kulu. And when you put it on, it grants you extraordinary power. It gives you like 300 defense. And basically, it does weakness exploit level 10, which isn't even a thing. And attack boost level 100. And attack boost level 50. So, it goes beyond the limit to the game to make you powerful. So that you still can do it single player, which is really hard. So, actually, no, attack boost level 50. Basically, just instead of level 7, it's about attack boost level 35 instead. So that's going to be a big attack buff, and it's going to give you up to 100% affinity no matter what weapon you have. But the bad thing is that after you defeat Nightmare, you'll have a cutscene of him just doing his death animation, but every single scale. But he shoots dragon breath all over his body, which causes every single scale on his body to explode, which tears the Death Kula helm to shreds. So you can only use it in that quest, because then the explosion destroys it. Then you're standing there with all your normal gear, without the Death Kulu helmet, and you feel your face like, where'd the helmet go? And all that's left in its place, because when Nightmare dies, all the things return to normal, and you just have a normal Kula helm with a Pro Transporter. Which I think is going to be extremely awesome. At first I wanted to put Kula Man into the quest, but come on. That Kula Man requires a DLC of his own. Because, well, he's Kula Man. I am the squawk in the night. And if you don't know who Kula Man is, hold on a second. Let me just go layered armor. Also, I should make it so that when you save loadouts, you can also save layered armor. And yeah, that's cool. This is Kula Man, and this is what I like to call Enraged Kula Man. Basically, Xenojiva Kula Man, because he's a hybrid of a hybrid. The original hybrid was a Kuliaku mixed with Xenojiva Devil Joe, Odogaron, Nagakuga, and Nergigante to have the power of a Xeno with the fury of a Devil Joe, the speed of an Odogaron, the stealth of a Nagakuga, and the hunger of a Nergigante to create the ultimate creature, for, so that you can have a really good challenge for the hunters. But it failed miserably when it escaped, so a man named Frank the Hunter captured it, and then Frank underwent a genetic merging with said Kulu to become Kudlaman. I am the Squawk in the Night. So yeah, guys, that needs DLC of its own, which I'm not going to talk about, but yeah, Nightmare's coming. The coming of the mix between Basilgeuse and Devil Joe. An extremely hard hunt that I really hope they add into the game, because it would add so much of a difficult challenge, because it's going to have more health than Extreme Behemoth. It's going to have more, which Ancient Legend already had. Yeah, Ancient Legend already had that. But it's also going to have more health than, more health than Ancient Legend. About 10,000 more health than Ancient Legend. So it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And of course, actually no, the Death Cooler Helm is not going to be a thing. And it's just, actually, it is going to be a thing. It's just going to give you maximum attack buff, maximum attack boost, maximum defense boost, maximum weakness exploit, and maximum critical eyes. Not going to really boost the stats up to how higher than they should go. So they're going to go to the base amount, just the maximum though. Also maximum defense boost and health recovery up. Just everything that you need. Also maximum dragon resistance. Also nearly maximum dragon resistance. So that it still does quite a bit of damage, a whopping amount. Like about half dragon, the amount of dragon resistance, halfway full. So that's I think half out of 7, which means it would be about 3 dragon resistance. Is what it would be, 3 dragon resistance. So that would be pretty nice. As well as your usual Cooler Helm Pro Transporter. And that is basically what the Death Cooler Helm would be that you would use to defeat that guy. Of course, you would have you and all your friends, if you want to. You could have you and your 3 other friends going in all with your Death Cooler Helms. But of course, it's only a one time. But of course, you can only use the Death Cooler Helm on the first attempt. Actually, yeah, then that means that you would definitely not have the Death Cooler Helm, so the Death Cooler Helm is not going to be there. You're just going to try your best to beat this thing that's the most powerful creature in the game. And its ultimate attack is very bad, because if it's enraged and it's in the Basil's Insta Explode mode, then it'll do this. It'll look like it's doing the Basal Bombing Run, and it'll do the Basal Bombing Run, then fly super high into the air, fly down, and coat itself in Dragon Breath, but not strong enough to explode all the scales. Then, right when it's about to hit the ground, it breathes out really hard, coating the entire zone in Dragon Breath. So you get hit by that, but it doesn't knock you over. It basically just wind pressures you for about a quarter of your health. Then all of its scales explode like when it dies, which of course one-shots you. It does exactly how much damage those moss swine do on the giant moss swine quest. That's how much damage it does. Which is why in that quest you're also going to have 6 fates available, because you're gonna need twice the amount that you normally have in order to beat the quest. So yeah, guys, I really hope that Capcom adds Nightmares coming. Of course, the name Nightmare, the concept of Nightmare, and the concept of the Death Kulu were all thanks to my Xbox Monster Hunter friends that I don't exactly play with, but I know in real life. So anybody who knows him, like me, I sit with him every day on the bus, please thank him for giving me the idea of this video. So, everybody, I hope you all have enjoyed. Let me just strike a pose. Well, everybody, hopefully you all have enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for notifications on all my next content. I'll see you all later. Bye! Nightmarish outro that'll tear you to pieces at night.